Welcome to Resistance Chicks. We're your hosts, Leah and Michelle. We want to welcome right off the bat all of our new subscribers via Caitlin Johnston's article that she wrote. And so we're really happy to have you guys. And for our viewers, that we're going to cover her article in a little bit, but for our viewers that haven't seen that yet, we want to let you know that we are joining hand in hand across the aisle
with alternative media on the left.
And I want to, for lack of a better word, and I know this is going to come here, in Bernie Sanders supporters. That's kind of a broad umbrella of who they are. But like Leah said, she's like, listen, a lot of you guys like Ron Paul. If you like Ron Paul, we like Ron Paul. And so there's no better place to start than right here, because we have one common denominator, and that is trying to take down the deep state. And so we are very happy to have you and welcome you to the Resistance Chicks family. Exactly.
And so what better place to start than Julian Assange, who actually, I believe, has brought us all together.
Yes.
WikiLeaks and Edward Snowden and Chelsea Manning, and bringing out the government corruption, and they're trying to keep the lid on the pot. And Donald Trump went around, ooh, WikiLeaks, WikiLeaks, I love the WikiLeaks, WikiLeaks, and we're all like, yes, yes, we love WikiLeaks too. And you got, you know, Bernieites over here who are against Clinton, like, y'all done stole the nomination. What went down here, right? And so you're fighting against Clinton because you're mad, right? And over here, we're just mad at Clinton because we're just always mad at Clinton, right? Okay, and so we got this common enemy, and we don't realize that this tumor, this cancer goes really deep. That's why we call it the deep state. People who are in the CIA, the NSA, all the...
On both sides of the aisle.
It's okay, so
the deep state is one state.
You have a right foot and you got a left foot, but it's one body. Right. And so sometimes the right moves forward and sometimes the left moves forward, and they get us arguing and bantering back and forth. Right. We can discuss the specific issues later, and we will. And you might not agree, and that's fine. Leave your comments. We can discuss things on our channel incredibly open.
I think you guys will find, you'll be very pleasantly surprised that all of our viewers, I would say 95% of them in the comment section,
civil,
very civil, very supportive, understanding.
But I am not happy with the Trump administration going after Julian Assange. Not that I'm not happy, I'm mad. All right? And I think a very large portion of Trump supporters are very angry. And so you can be glad to know that we are, and we're talking, and we're bringing this to the forefront. Ron Paul had Assange on, and I'm really excited about this interview, so we're going to go straight to it. Here we go.
Let's look at it. This is the CIA is the organization that gave us Iraq, Al-Qaeda, the destruction of democracy in Iran, Pinochet, the destruction of Libya, the effective rise of ISIS, and the Syrian civil war. So this is an organization that goes around engaging in actions which are either deeply incompetent or which, even from the perspective of American power, are counter to its purposes.
Okay, so I wanted to make a statement right off the bat here, because I saw a few comments on Caitlin Johnston's article that said, but they didn't mention Bush and the CIA. Dude, we mention Bush all the stinking time. And I tell you what, here's the thing. Bush and the Clintons, they're like one family. They're like interbred. They're like, it could be a Clinton, it could be a Bush, it could be a Clinton, they could just the same dudes, okay? Right. All right, even though Bush is a lot more fun to watch.
I don't know. I mean, Bill's pretty funny to watch.
He's too creepy. He's too creepy. I mean, Bush.
They're both clowns.
Yeah, exactly.
That.
But yeah. So, anyways, when it comes to Iraq, we were duped, and we admit it. We'll admit it 500 times.
Yes.
We were all behind Bush. I was 100% behind him. And the fact that when the truth gets out...
Let's sign over all of our rights to the Patriot Act because it's going to make us safer.
1 million people died in Iraq. We have the 7 countries in 5-year plan, and that was it's a deep state, okay? And so when it comes to Julian Assange, when it comes to WikiLeaks, at first they were uncovering what it seemed to be was the Republicans, and then it seems like they're going after the Democrats, right? They're going after government corruption,
right?
And I want to know if there's government corruption on the Republican side. I want to know if there's government corruption on the Democrat side. And so we need to be open to each other. We need to be honest with each other, okay? And we need to just not say it's the right, it's the left. You're going to hear me say the left. You're going to hear me say probably liberals. Only because it's hard to kind of just to put people and explain who people are. Right. I really despise labels. I don't like them. I don't like them. But if I say it and I offend you, just roll with it. Okay? So, listen, I'm a Christian. I get offended every single day of my life. Oh, those Christians. I gotta make this bigger.
And he is in an embassy. His name is Julian Assange. And most people know him, but I would like to first introduce Julian. Julian, thank you for being with us today.
We're not going to play this whole interview just at the beginning.
Thank you, Dr. Paul. It's good to be with you again.
Wonderful. Well, your name has been in the news, and I guess that doesn't flatter you too much. You don't need your name in the news, but some Americans were picking on you the other day. They happened to be in government, and one was a CIA guy, Pompeo. He was deciding that they have to find some charges. So far, as I understand, there haven't been any precise charges against you, but they're looking for it, and they've come up with a term in order to segregate you from others who are doing the same thing, that is publishing information. They have to find something special to justify what they're trying to do to you, and now they're calling WikiLeaks a hostile intelligence service. And I want to read one real short quote from Pompeo when he came out with this, because they want to find out how they can file these charges. I think really tells you where they're coming from, because it's a very confused...
Okay, here's the thing. When somebody does something wrong, then you file charges. You don't just go after someone and try to find something. This is what, you know, here's the thing. Hillary Clinton, she did something wrong. She should be in prison. They found every way under heaven not to charge the crazy person.
His constitutional position. Pompeo said that they can't afford Assange constitutional free speech protection. Then he quotes, Julian Assange has no First Amendment freedoms. He's sitting in an embassy in London. He's not a U.S. citizen, Pompeo said. Well, why don't you comment about what he's doing? And I'm sure you understand the American law and the Constitution a lot better than a couple other people have been talking about your case, because that to us on our program is just totally unconstitutional even to discuss this. They're not even have any comprehension at all about what the First Amendment rights mean.
I think it's a very interesting and worrying statement by Pompeo. It was the first statement, it's the first speech that he's made as the new Trump head of the CIA. And it's about an hour long. The majority of the talk is about us. We're the #1 subject. So it doesn't spend its time addressing the United States' real threats, which are terrorism, perhaps a geostrategic threat in relation to China. There's actually not many other serious threats the United States has. Instead, it spends its time not just on WikiLeaks, but WikiLeaks and its ilk, where Pompeo introduces a new concept of a non-state intelligence service. And you think to yourself, hang on, doesn't intelligence service mean state intelligence service? What could be a non-state intelligence service? Well, he says that WikiLeaks is one of these things. And so it's an interesting question. Is what WikiLeaks does, or human rights groups, or media organizations, in some ways similar to intelligence services? And the answer is yes and absolutely no. So investigative reporters investigating human rights groups organizations like The Intercept, ProPublica, and all the serious media that consider national security journalism, we're all involved in developing sources, protecting sources, verifying what sources give to us or what we obtain, then analyzing it, coordinating it internally, and intelligence agencies also do all that. The equivalent of the CIA in Germany is the BND, or Bundesgeheimdienst, which is the literal translation is the Federal News Service. Similarly, in the CIA under Obama, about 6 years ago, the CIA introduced a change into how it writes its internal reports to use the same style that journalists use in writing articles, called the inverted pyramid style, where you basically put the conclusion up top and then you justify how you got to the conclusion. So there are similarities between news services and intelligence services, but it ends with what happens to the results of the research.
Bingo.
So publishers publish, whereas state intelligence agencies keep the information concealed and use it for the advantage of their organization, for their particular political...
Okay, so that's kind of what I wanted to get to, the gist of that. And having blasted the Trump administration for their hypocritical flip-flop on loving WikiLeaks to arrest Assange, Ron Paul made his feelings very clear on what this signals. If we allow this president to declare war on those who tell the truth, we have only ourselves to blame. Assange says the CIA, and you heard him just say, but I'm going to repeat this. The CIA has been deeply humiliated as a result of our ongoing publications, so this is a preemptive move by the CIA to try and discredit our publications and create a new category for WikiLeaks and other national security reporters to strip them of First Amendment protections. Here's the thing. You have to have the right to speak out against any government, to write things, to publish news. I don't care if you're from a different country, you have to be able to publish news for people to read. It boggles my mind that when Trump was running for president, he said over and over again, listen, I want to have good relations with Putin. I want to have good relations with Russia. But what we found is that there was already supposed to be a war set up between Russia and the United States. It's already been like the war drums were beating, boom, 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 boom. Because this whole thing in Syria, it was kind of supposed to not be out in the open.
Right.
We weren't really supposed to know where Aleppo was, right? So you've got John...
Well, Maxine Waters doesn't either.
Ellie Popo. Okay, Maxine Waters. Right, so you got Gary Johnson running, right? And he's like, Aleppo, what's Aleppo? And then we're all like Googling, Aleppo, right? And so then we've all done a lot of research, which is fantastic. Bad news for the deep state. Good news, hopefully, because this whole WikiLeaks deep state thing has finally hit the fan, okay? It has hit the fan.
And they're scrambling at this point
exactly
to pick up all the pieces, which is why they're going so hard at Assange.
Because you got conservative people, you got right-wing people, you got left-wing people, you got libertarian people, you got Democrats, and we're all looking at WikiLeaks, and we're all putting two and two together, and we're like, wait a minute. You said this and this and this, and you said we were going into Iraq because of this, and you said we were going to Afghanistan because we were at war on terror. We've been there for 16 years. What kind of war goes on for 16 years? Come on, right? So you've got all these crazy things going on, and we're all waking up to the truth, and we have WikiLeaks to thank for a lot of it. And this whole Russia thing, I don't know if it wore Trump down or if it's just deep state stuff, but now he's like trying to prove that he's not in collusion with the Russians, and in doing so you have all of the Clintonites, the CNN, the Clinton News Network, you got all of them saying, you know, it's Trump and Russia and he's this and he's that, and all of a sudden, again, like we talk about, he sends a few missiles over to Syria, and suddenly the whole thing about Russia goes Crickets.
Exactly, because you're not even paying attention anymore.
Crickets. Because somehow they have done like this, like Men in Black, like brain scan on Donald Trump, like, you will not remember who you are. Bzz. Okay, and what you said. And so what we try to do here at Resistance Chicks, just to let you know, is remind Donald Trump who he is, what he said, what campaign promises he ran on. Because of the first, you know, month or two, we were all like, ha ha ha, look, he called it the very fake news network, and it's all going great, and he's doing his thing. And then Syria, what did you just do? Because we all knew now what was going down in Syria. And because we've been researching it, we know what Ali Bobo is. So when you let this happen, the CIA, as far as I understand, the CIA does not have constitutional rights to anything. Right. There's nothing in the Constitution about the CIA.
But there is something in the Constitution called the First Amendment, right, that gives the freedom of press, what? The freedom of press.
Right, the freedom of speech. Okay, so, and here's the, and for the rest of us to know and to speak about it and write about it, but suddenly, you know, the Washington Post, which is owned by the CIA, by the way, there's a contract, by the way, from the guy who owns the Washington Post with the CIA. I mean, you want to talk about collusion there. It's huge. I mean, it's just huge, you guys. We're on the same team. We want to bring this stuff out. We got to back Julian Assange. We have to back WikiLeaks. We've got to get behind Edward Snowden.
Here's the thing, guys. From our Resistance Chicks normal viewers that are Trump supporters, and you know that we are with you 100%. You have to be with us on this one. Right. This is not us calling out, okay, we'll talk about whether Assad really did, no, you know what I mean, do the chemical attack, whatever. We'll talk about that separate because I know a lot of you guys are a little bit iffy on that. This one is a wrong call. Okay, we're throwing the flag, the Resistance Chicks flag. I'm going to make one. Resistance Chicks flag on the field.
Yellow flag, red flag.
This. Okay, y'all know she had like a million flags.
That is a red flag!
It's actually pink, but okay.
I don't think we have a red one.
Okay, we're throwing a flag on the Julian Assange. You do not touch that man. You don't touch WikiLeaks. You do not go after the person that pretty much handed you the election. Because it was right. Because everything that was in WikiLeaks was correct.
Okay, so I'm actually going to bring you a Clinton News Network segment on this, which is pretty spot on. I mean, they're bringing quotes. So, yes, listen to this because it's actually...
From his confinement inside the tiny Ecuadorian embassy in London, Julian Assange lashes out at the CIA.
The CIA has been deeply humiliated as a result of our ongoing falsehood publications.
The WikiLeaks founder, in an interview with former U.S. presidential candidate Ron Paul, is responding to a recent barrage from CIA Director Mike Pompeo.
Assange is a narcissist who has created nothing of value. He relies on the dirty work of others to make himself famous. He's a fraud, a coward hiding behind a screen.
Pompeo, responding to WikiLeaks publishing a report it called Vault 7, thousands of files unraveling the CIA's massive hacking operation.
It's time to call out WikiLeaks for what it really is.
We finally discovered that the CIA has the ability to make it look like Russia hacked the DNC and hacked the, you know, whatever, all the emails and stuff like that, okay?
So of course they're going to come out and bash Assange and say that they're evil.
They're covering their tracks. No real good intelligence is going to leave the fingerprints behind.
Right.
Okay? So the CIA leaves the fingerprints behind to make it look like the Russians. It's all the CIA. Sorry.
State hostile intelligence service, often abetted by state actors like Russia.
U.S. intelligence officials say Russian intelligence used WikiLeaks to publish stolen, damaging emails from Hillary Clinton's campaign. Assange denied it to Fox News.
Our source is not the Russian government.
Tonight, the Trump administration is going after Assange. Sources telling CNN, U.S. authorities have prepared charges to seek his arrest. This, despite President Trump's crowing about WikiLeaks during the campaign, after the group published the damaging information about Clinton.
WikiLeaks! I love WikiLeaks. Well, I love reading those WikiLeaks. This WikiLeaks is like a treasure trove.
Trump's praise of the stolen material was defended by Attorney General Jeff Sessions on NBC.
They were putting out information that, political information that I'm sure he valued.
Tonight, Assange claims the administration has turned on him to deflect from Trump's own Russia problem.
Because of the rhetorical assaults about them being proximate to Russia, have now decided that it benefits them politically to talk up the conflict with WikiLeaks and the DOJ.
Assange is holed up and protected inside the Ecuadorian embassy in...
Listen, you don't throw people under the bus. I don't care if you're the President of the United States and you're trying to get Russia, CNN, and all that stuff off your back. If somebody's trying to do something evil, you don't do something evil to get it to stop.
To someone else.
That's the bottom line. We all need to know this information.
It covers that the government isn't putting any of the government in jail where they belong.
Exactly.
All these government officials should be in jail. Hillary, Obama, all these State Department, FBI.
I love how they can so easily go after Assange, but they're not going after Hillary.
Themselves.
Exactly, exactly. That's our Patriot Gallery. If you don't know, that's her mom. She will never be on camera. She hates the camera, but she speaks and never makes one. So that kind of wraps up this. Give us your thoughts. Give us your links. Give us your, go ahead and write in your comments.
Right.
You got to be with Julian Assange.
Absolutely.
You have to. You have to.
It also shows the selfishness of the government. The government isn't there for itself, to have itself grow.
Yeah.
They're going there for the people.
Yeah.
But in this situation, the government is protecting itself, growing itself, feeding itself, taxing.
Cancer.
They collect taxes, make sure they always have money, and they spend all this money, and they just keep growing and growing and growing, and this is what... The problem is we got to cut this government out.
Right. Right. So, this is Lee Michelle signing off for Resistance Chick. Sorry, we're both a little bit sick. I got a cough drop in my mouth.
I'll get it.
Thank you.
It's not a conspiracy theory. If it's a truth, please like, comment, and subscribe to Mass Faith 3 and Resistance Chicks. Find us on Facebook and Twitter. She says, and I always forget something to say. And
we love you. God loves you.
God
bless.
I was cold all alone. No place for home every day. So afraid, but you called my name.